All right. Choir beautiful as always. Okay. Easter's in early this year. It's March 31st. I guess it's not really early, but it's the last Sunday. So we're going to, during the month of March, start looking at some of the basic tenets of Jesus' teachings, what he came to actually educate us to and lift us to. And the first thing that I was guided to share with you guys today is about forgiveness. You know, forgiveness is paramount in every Christian faith. We have to understand and rise to that space. But I want us to maybe look at it a little bit differently today, make it more real for us. So a lot of this you may already know, but you will find something that will be a treasure for you. All right. When I was a little kid, I started reading the Bible at 11, cover to cover. When I was a little kid, it took me 2 years. When I was a little kid, I remember hitting some spaces. One of them was about communion. You could not take communion if you had aught against your brother. And I went, that bothered me because I did not know what that meant, aught against your brother. And when you really start looking at the scriptures, it literally, there's 3 places I want to bring up, and this is in our traditional Bibles. There's a scripture that says, when you stand to pray, which means leading in prayer, if you have aught against your brother, if you're angry or whatever, do not stand up to pray. If you are going to give a gift at the altar, and you come to the altar to give your gift, and they would do their sacrifices or their tithe offerings or whatever, and you have aught against your brother, and Jesus said, if you have anything against your brother, put your gift down and go find your brother. There is a space of when we have judgments, resentments, blockages against our brother, against any human, it puts us in the space where we're no longer able to function according to the scripture. And this is what it says in the Aquarian. I just wanted to share this one wee one with you. It's very similar to the New Testament. It says, in the higher laws, we read that if your brother is aggrieved by something you have done, before you offer unto God your gifts, go forth and find your brother and be reconciled to him. It is not well to let the sun go down upon your wrath. So we have to make the effort to heal differences, judgments, and separations that we have with our family, with our brothers, with anyone on the planet. Remember, Peter said to Jesus, so if my brother offends me 7 times, shall I forgive him 7 times? How many times should I forgive? And Jesus said very calmly, no, you forgive him 70 times 70, 7 times, which means forever. That they would have understood that. 70 times 70, 7 times. That means you never stop. So when you, as a human in our world today, quarrel or judge anyone, anything, any position, yes, even politics, I'm sorry to say, you are attaching to a position, okay? If we look at what's happening within us, let's say we experience a person and you feel unfairly treated, you feel hurt, you might be offended, you feel like they judged you, whatever happened, if it's a real deep pain or if it's just a casual walk-by strike, you're accepting the energy of what's happening to you. And you judge it as bad. And the minute you judge it as bad, you hold it in your field and it becomes a pattern. You have taken a position in a situation with your judgment, and you have taken a position with that person with your judgment. Even if you never see that person again, you are connected to them forever. Because you have their energy in you and they have your energy in them. You have just shared discord with one another, and it continues. Got it? Do you think you have people in your world that might have a bit of you that's in ire? You're judging them. A little bit of you that might be in a space where forgiveness did not occur. Okay. Unforgiveness freezes the energy pattern into place. Okay? You are stuck at the same level at this vibratory frequency of the judgment, and you will reproduce this stuckness with many other people. Many other situations, you'll reproduce it. You will have a host of people that are unforgiven in your world. 70 times 70, 7 times. You will carry a host of people that are unforgiven in your world. How's that sound? Okay. Metaphysically, we call forgiveness giving forth good. You got it? So I've been guided to write some little teeny books for the wee ones, for the teenies downstairs. And this is going to be just little informations with little pictorials about how to, how energy flows. You know, because we say pray and they go, oh, okay, what does that mean? They don't know what it means. You know, so, and we can give them words, but I want to give them a picture and an energy. So this is the little children's book that I'm working on. It's done, it's not illustrated at all. You know, I do great stick figures. And I'm open to finding assistance with that. All right, this is about forgiveness. So I'm asking them, I tell them forgiveness is about giving love. Then I say to them, when someone yells at you, you can say to them, I do not accept this hurt. I send God's love so you feel better. When someone actually hits you or bites you, which is a real thing, I do not accept this hurt that you're giving me. I ask that God's love fill me, and I ask that God's love fill you so we can both feel better. I'm just picking a couple, because you have to repeat it to the babies. Someone comes to you after they have hurt you in some way, and they ask you to forgive them. I can see you did not mean to hurt me. I do not accept that hurt. I ask God's love to fill me and to fill you so we can be friends. Friends always forgive friends. God's love flows through us all. So that's their little visual. Can you see it? First step, I do not accept the hurt you're giving me. Excuse me. What is the little mind? Can a little mind accept that? Can we? I don't accept what you're giving me. I'm going to ask God's love to move through me and move through you. And now, did I engage? I did not. Did I judge? I immediately went through the forgiveness process before I allowed a pattern to start anchoring in. You see? So, little children's books, so very easy. If we could do that in our brains, we could take control of our worlds. Because when someone seeks to hurt, harm, offend, whatever, they are seeking to bring their world into your world. Do you understand? Because if it wasn't your world, you probably wouldn't have an opinion, would you? Unless you like having opinions. Then you'll go to somebody's world to have an opinion. But if we consider, let's take care of our world, stay in our world. And I know some of you are saying, well, what about the repeat offenders I can't get out of my world? I know you. So Spirit said this, a dog is going to bark and a bird is going to fly. And that person is going to be that person. Why are you with them? Why are you with them? What is your motive? Are you bringing people to you that are contrary to you because you need to change them? Do you need to prove that they're wrong? Do you need to teach them? A lot of people find their power by making someone else wrong. Is that where you want your power to come from? If you are always seeking to find the fault with another, and most metaphysicians don't, because we know the payoff of that, but we know people who do. They're seeking to find fault with another, and metaphysicians allow those people in their world, don't they? Because we want to teach them. Oh, you don't have to do that. Oh, you don't have to do that. Oh, you don't have to do that. How many times do you want to forgive? 70 times 70, 7 times. Okay. And then you have to decide, is this my world? Why are they in my world? I really want to use my energy for something positive, constructive. Something for me so I can stay with my eyes on God, not on the problem my fellow journeyer is having with me. I really don't want my eye on that. I want my eye on the opportunities God is bringing to me. Got it? All right. If you do have value by finding problems with others, that is a way to learn. I'm not saying it's wrong or bad. It is a way to learn. And if that's your guidance, go for it. But if that's not where you want to live, you can easily just say, that dog is going to bark. I'm going to say, I don't want the hurt you're handing me. I'm going to give you love and give me love. We're all good. Am I making sense? Okay. Having aught against the brother. When you think about that, when you're standing to prayer, if you have aught against your brother, when you're doing your tithe, the offerings, if you have aught against your brother, when you're doing communion, each of those acts, tithe, communion, the gifts, speaking, praying for people, are acts where you are connecting with God. Where you, in these acts, are connecting with the divine, with the Spirit, with the love of Father, Mother, God, with the love of God for man. You are the channel of God. How much can come through when you're harboring judgment and unforgiveness to the people around you? And I know it's a process, but how much can come through? In the big book, it actually says, a man may say he is in the light, but if he hates his brother, he's in the dark. Yeah. So I wanted to share just a little thing to help us with our ideas. This is Dr. Rocco Errico's book. And I'm sharing this because we're talking about Jesus' time, the message, forgiveness, 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 forgiving each other, forgiving yourself, forgiveness. He says this is in the Gospel of Matthew. This is the commentary that he wrote with George Lamsa. Reconciling with your brother was a big deal because as he portrays it, there were some hot heads back in the day. We don't have hot heads anymore, do we? Okay. So, before a big celebration or a big feast, this was done. Y'all ready? It was common knowledge when people had aught against their brother because they acted it and they lived it. And a few days before a feast, a group of townspeople known as peacemakers began working the crowd. They would go to you and say, now, Charmaine, I know you have an issue, and don't you think it's time to put it down? And they would work everybody that they knew to try to get them to release their positions. Why? Because a huge feast is coming. And the huge feast has all the energy of connecting with God at a higher level. So it would be like our Easter. Huge feast is coming. When the efforts of the peacemakers fail, the final hope for reconciliation rested on the words of a priest who would speak during the services on the holy day. On such an occasion, the priest reads absolution and prays to God, asking for forgiveness for his people, asks the people to forgive each other so they may receive blessings from God, and this is done before the Holy Communion. If the priest discovers that certain brothers or neighbors have not settled the matters, he refuses to give them communion. Because they are not receptive. They are making their issues with their brother more important than their love of God. Let's just look at that for a half a second. We make any issue more important than God. That's an interesting space. That limits our ability to receive. And if we make troublesome issues more important than God, things we can't forgive, we can't let go of, that makes it really hard to receive. It says that, I was going to read it because it was cute. Oh, here it is. Some men, before the conclusion of the service, will leave the church to find their adversaries to make peace with them. They will kiss them and reconcile with them so that they may return and participate in the Holy Communion. They will feel the conviction of their hearts, of their energy, and they will find their enemy. They'll hug them. They'll kiss them. They're men. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And normally in a reconciliation, one man will say it's all my fault, and the other man will say, no, it's all my fault, and they're both willing to accept their responsibilities. They're not measuring blame. They're saying, yes, I participated fully, and they can let it go. And in that position, when you go into forgiveness, can you not find a new way to live with one another? That's when issues dissolve. That's when they become workable. That's when we have a new solution or a new possibility. Not from what created it, but what lives in the reconciliation of the hearts. Do you like that? How to walk with the big book. All right. How much light can we channel? Jesus was always about forgiveness and blotting out of sins. He uses that term in the New Testament, in the Aquarian. Blotting out of sins means I release you. I release myself from that activity. I'm forgiving it and I'm letting it go. When we forgive, we release anyone's karma to us. How powerful is that? You hurt me so deeply. You hurt me so deeply. What you did, I could write up and every human would vote for me because I am innocent in this. What you did was just so whatever. But if I can forgive that perpetrator, not knowing why they did what they did, but knowing that I allowed it at some level, I have released their karma to me. Guess what? I don't have to see them when they pay their karma. If I don't release their karma to me and I judge them forever and I can't believe they did it to me and blah, 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 because I'm really right, then when they pay their karma, guess who has to be a part of it? Guess who wants to move on and grow? I don't want to wait for them to do their karma. I don't want to wait for their life to catch up with them. I'm done. I realize I participated at some level to allow it to occur. I want to heal that. I want to say they're learning at their level. I want to forgive them, forgive myself, and I want to move on. Do you see how powerful forgiveness is? Do you know how many people wait for the karma to come down on somebody? I want to be there when he has his comeuppance. Oh boy. I want to be there when that second wife leaves him treats him like he treated me. It's a human thing, but it is not a God thing. All right. In the Aquarian, Jesus says this. Everybody feeling like you got this? Like you already do it? We all have stuff. We have buried stuff that will surface out of the blue, and you'll go, wow, that really happened to me? Man, did I bury that? Wow, let me feel those feelings. Yeah, I'm really mad. What the heck? And then you go, wait a minute. Okay, let me let it go. I was a baby. I played in it. Let me forgive it all. Let me get back to here, back into God's world, and let me go forward. And it'll come up because we've had many experiences. Jesus is teaching at the Sermon on the Mount. He is talking about the Lord's Prayer, and these are the words of the Lord's Prayer. I want to give it to you. Father who art in heaven, holy is thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is done in heaven. Give us this day our needed bread. Help us forgive the debts that others owe to us, that all our debts might be discharged. No, forgiving my debts as we forgive our debtors. That means if I'm not forgiving my debtors, my debts aren't forgiven. Help me release what I've done. And then he goes on to say, if you would be discharged from all the debts you owe to God and man, the debts you have incurred by willfully transgressing the law, willfully being unkind, willfully saying unkind things, willfully. You incurred something when you treated someone in less than a loving way. The way to do this, the way to heal it, is to pass by the debts of every man. Do not judge. Do not get into a position where you have to forgive. Forgive it from the get-go. Let it go. Send the love of God as it occurs. Let that beautiful light move to it. Pass by the debts of others. That's their journey. Stay in your world. Stay where you are. Does that make sense? Okay. I have held to that for 30 years. No, pass by the debt, Cindy. Shut up. Don't say anything. Pass by. And many times I'm successful and sometimes I'm not. But it's a journey. Then I wanted to say this. In Corinthians, there's a nice post I wanted to share with you guys. This is 1 Corinthians, and I think you've all heard it. Eye hath not seen, and the ear has not heard, and the heart of man has not conceived the things which God has prepared for those who love him. We in our minds, our finite minds, do not have the capacity at this level of consciousness to understand the light, the abundance, the love, the expansion, the awareness, the magnificence that is available to us. And through the other examples, we can see that by non-forgiveness, we are blocking our ability to take that step. Anything that we do not forgive, we are blocking the ability to take that step so that we can receive. The journey of forgiveness is the journey of allowing ourselves to live heaven on earth, to be in the world but not of the world, which means I can live in this world, enjoy the fruits of my labor, enjoy the bounty, enjoy the blessings. But I do not have to have the world tell me or judge me, because I'm walking as spirit on earth. When I judge someone else's journey and cannot forgive them, I'm really not forgiving myself. I do not know how that happened. I do not know what happened, but it happened. And I can honestly tell you guys, in my journey, everything that I've participated in that you would go, oh my God, how'd you live through that? Do you know what I'm saying? Like I would be like, you'd be crying for me, you know? Just like, you'd cry for me. I'm not going to tell you, but there's a series of events throughout my life. Every single event, I was protected. Every single event, the hand of God was with me. Yes, I had to go through certain experiences, but it was the easiest possible way. So whatever I was learning, they had me. And as I go back and remember the hardships that I went through, it's easier to forgive. It's like, remember, God was right by your side. God was with you. God's in you. The angels had you. It did not go as bad as it could have. They had you. And then I can say thank you for whatever I learned through that, and I can release and forgive everyone that was involved. Most of the things we're dealing with people who are not awake yet. You know, they didn't know what they were doing. We didn't know what we were doing. But we were on the path for our soul to grow. Forgiving the details, forgiving the experiences, forgiving, releasing, forgiving. This is what lifts us up. And do you know why I wrote in the little children's book, Friends always forgive friends? Because to a little child, everyone is their friend. We have to mature our brains to learn to judge. We have to grow into that space of hostility and mature into hostility to have the power to judge the behavior of another. They will always seek a friend, even if someone hurts them. If that person comes back and says sorry or anything, they're friends. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's natural until we train them to not be and their little brains develop. We are all on the journey together. And, you know, Spirit will say the one that hurts you the most is the one that agreed to. They signed up. I'll meet you down there. I know you love me. I know I can get under your skin. I'll do what needs to happen, and then you can go through your lesson and I'll get out there. You know? We're on a journey of our evolution to be able to take eye has not seen, ear has not heard, heart has not conceived that level of good. That's what we want. We want that level of good. Okay. So I wanted to close one thing with you guys, because you guys have been on a journey, and I know the very brains, the cells in your brain, they house all this information, and you'll trip back to standard Christianity, you'll trip back into being bad, okay, or doing something. So I want to share this last with you. You know the scripture, which everyone teaches you, I don't care what religion you are. If a man strikes you on the cheek, turn to him the other. Okay? So if someone hits you, be victim to their hostility and let them hit you again. That has literally how it's been interpreted. Most of you know, and I'm reminding you, this is an idiom. Just like cut it out's an idiom, cut it out. Cut something out. The idiom means settle your differences swiftly. If a man hits you on the cheek, turn to him the other, which means turn and settle your differences quickly so it does not become a problem. You never are asked to give up your power, your choices, your world for anyone else's world. But you are asked to allow their world to exist, to allow your world to exist, and to create a space where both can be harmonious, even if it is a big space. Everyone is allowed their journey. Forgive and stay in your world. Got it? You're never asked to not stay in your world. Okay. Do not judge. Allow space for all. And as these things come up, let's go back to our children's book. What do we do when we remember something that we've judged and we feel unhappy about? We say, I do not accept the hurt that I accepted any longer. I'm going to let that hurt go. I'm going to send love to myself, and I'm going to send love to them. And I'm going to forgive and release this experience. How's that? Easy for the little biddles. All right, let's go within. Father, Mother God, we open our hearts, and we are ready to take that step. And I want you all just to see a beautiful light fill this room and a beautiful column of light come over you. Feel that you are held in that safety. Feel the love of Holy Spirit surrounding you. You're safe. And allow yourself just to imagine that you can now just gently move into your heart. And let's just go to the garden of the heart. Get a visual. Allow yourself to image in or pretend that you're in the beautiful garden of your heart. And there may be a color that draws you or something along those lines. And just feel. And I want you just to scan your own field. Is there any unforgiveness in you toward you? And just allow one little thing to bubble up, anything that you have not yet forgiven yourself for. It may be just how you've lived your own life. It may involve someone. But just let one little thing come up. And I want you to become aware of how that one little thing is impacting your pattern. As I do not forgive self, my energy cannot flow freely. And imagine you can see that. And I want you to look at it. You may see a picture of yourself. You may just see a ball of energy. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And say to that situation, that issue, I'm not going to allow you to hurt me any longer. The hurt that I took in, I'm now releasing. And just imagine all the hurt leaving your body. Just send it to the angel standing by your side. And I ask that God's love move through me now to strengthen me, to heal me. And I ask that God's love move to and through that situation, that thought, that experience, whatever it might have been. I am willing. And I now forgive all of the details. That was a moment in time, and I am now free. Breathe in the love and see the angel gather the energy of the event, the person, with the thought, whatever it was, and just lift it to the light. Standing in your garden, just notice that your energy field is a little clearer, a little more movement, a little more open with possibilities. Father, Mother God, we thank you that we are your children, Creator children. And we open now and ask to receive all the good you have for us. The good eye has not seen, ear has not heard, heart has not conceived. That good God. We open to receive it now. And we thank you. Breathe and allow your focus just to look at the garden for a moment. And just allow your focus to come back to your body, sitting in your chair. You are God's beloved child. And you have the key to heaven on earth. Forgive. Take a breath. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the love of God with you. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Well, you know how metaphysical Christianity works. Each one of us will have the opportunity this week to forgive something. It will appear before us, and we will get our tools, and we will remember our child's book, and we will exercise our newfound knowledge. Forgiveness, the key to heaven on earth. Say, yea, God.
Yea, God.